derby ends 2-1 in favor of the home team in the first leg of the UCL round of 16. We're going to start with that first half, because that first half was so much better than that second half. And we saw two of the best goals we've seen all season in that first half. And the first one was courtesy of Rodrigo 4 minutes into the game. What a goal that he scored. First of all, the pass from Fede Valverde was amazing. The weight on that ball is perfect, and Rodrigo beats Javi Galan for pace, because of course he did, because Javi Galan was fucking putrid today. So he beats him for pace, he cuts in on his left foot and curls it beautifully into the far post, and nobody is saving that. Pick your favorite keeper all time, put them in their prime in between the posts today, and they're not saving that. I don't care if it's prime Buffon, prime Oblak, prime Neuer, prime Casillas, nobody. You could bring Yashin back from the dead, and he's not saving that shot. Unstoppable, and what a beautiful goal. But like I said, that pass from Valverde was amazing. And for the first 10-15 minutes, I think Madrid were the more intense team and the better team. But then Atletico Madrid kind of started getting into the game. And that was because Madrid could barely keep the ball in that midfield. Actually, both teams were having trouble keeping the ball in the midfield, but Madrid especially, because they were missing a guy like Jude Bellingham. You see in games today how important Jude Bellingham is to this Madrid team. You see it today. Because people think of Jude Bellingham as this like pseudo false nine or something like that, or like the striker, this undercover striker, but he's much more than that. And he provides so much control to that midfield. And also, Fede Valverde, he has to play right back, so he's not actually getting involved in the midfield, so it makes it even more difficult, because guys like Tchouaméni and Camavinga, while they're great, they don't have those same qualities. And I think today, when I look at Camavinga, he was just terrible out of possession. And Camavinga, I've watched basically every Madrid game this year. Since 2025 started, I don't think Camavinga's had more than 2 good games. He's not been great since the year started. And I think Camavinga is a great player. But today, in possession, I think he was good. But out of possession, he looked terrible. Tchouaméni was better today. I think Tchouaméni was actually good. But Camavinga was awful. And again, Atletico Madrid started taking advantage of that. And their goal came like 30 minutes into the game, where they were actually playing some good football. And that goal from Julian Alvarez is insane. And he's quietly having such a great season. But that goal, man, it reminded me of Toni Kroos's goal in the World Cup in 2018 against Sweden. Like that same angle. Which is just, and like the curl on that ball is crazy, man. And the whole play, he wins, like he loses the ball, then he gets it back, and then he cuts in, and then like he doesn't even cut it, he just shoots it from like this insane angle. And the fact that that ball actually goes into the back of the net, when I saw that goal go in, I was like, okay, Atletico Madrid are going to win this game. And I picked them to win this tie. But after I saw the whole game, I don't think it's going to happen anymore, because I thought that they have to actually get a win today to actually win the tie, and I don't think they're going to be capable of doing that. And I think, you know, like I said, that first half, I think for the most part, Atletico Madrid were better. If you look at that first half, I would say Atletico Madrid were better for what? 25 minutes, and Madrid were better for maybe 20 minutes. So overall, I think Atletico Madrid was the better team in that first half, and that goal was amazing. But then in that second half, what was that? That was so... I mean, Cholo Simeone, man, look, I rate him as a manager, I really do. But that was just... like, he looked like a coward out there, man. I honestly don't know what else to say. I was trying to think of a better word, but honestly, he was a coward in that second half. He was a coward in that second half, especially when that second goal went in, which, by the way, we got to talk about that goal from Brahim Diaz, which was insane. All 3 goals we saw today were fucking amazing. I would not be surprised if all 3 of those goals, actually, I would not be mad if all 3 of those goals get nominated for the Puskas Award when the Ballon d'Or ceremony comes around. Because all 3 of them were insane. And that goal from Brahim Diaz, I mean, that curl, man, it was an insane curl. And he put Jose Maria Jimenez on his ass, bro. He put Josema on his ass, and an insane goal. But yeah, man, I think Atletico Madrid went into halftime with all the momentum, and then once that Brahim Diaz goal went in, Cholo Simeone kind of just gave up and said, "You know what? We're gonna just play. We're gonna play we're gonna try and win it. We're gonna try and win the second leg of the Metropolitano." And that's honestly the worst thing you could do. With a team like Real Madrid that are so good and so seasoned in this competition, and they honestly, quite frankly, own you in this competition, the worst thing you can do is just pray that you win the second leg, because now you gotta win by 2 goals, and they're gonna have Bellingham back in that tie. In that game at the Metropolitano. So for me, the subs that he made and the way that Atletico Madrid and Cholo Simeone approached that second half was pathetic. It was sad. If I was an Atletico Madrid fan right now, I'd be so pissed. Because against Barca, this fucking guy, man, he goes after the entire game. Now granted, that might have been Barca's fault, because Hansi Flick wants to play that high line, and Carlo Ancelotti's not going to let you do that. He's not going to play a high line when he's up in a game, and Hansi Flick does do that. But anyway, like, I just thought the subs that he made, I mean, you're bringing on Lenormand for Griezmann. You sub out your entire midfield. I understand if you wanted to take out Lino and your son, because they were both not great, especially your son. His son was fucking terrible today. So Giuliano was not great today. But I think Barrios and De Paul, I mean, why would you take them out? They were the only people actually providing some control for you in that midfield, and then the second you took them out, Madrid just took over. So for me, I didn't understand the game plan by Cholo Simeone. I didn't understand taking out a striker and bringing in a defender. I didn't get that at all. I didn't understand just sitting back and hoping that, Madrid made a mistake and then you can get them on the counterattack. Because while Atletico Madrid have been super deadly this year on the counterattack, you have to put more pressure on that team. And we see it so many times in this competition. It's like these teams just choke every time they come up against Madrid in this fucking stadium. And that Bernabeu tax is real. Because every time they score, their fans get up and you have the fucking ultras singing and shit. And it's almost impossible to win in that competition. And the fact that, what's really upsetting as a guy who's rooting for Atletico Madrid is that this performance today by Mbappe and Vinicius was a disaster class by both of them. Both of them were fucking terrible today. And I mean terrible, especially the Kylian Mbappe, who's coming off a hat-trick the last time they played in this competition, in this stadium, and today he was nowhere to be found. Mbappe was MIA. He looked like November Mbappe. And Vini as well, who's been historically amazing in this competition, especially in the knockout rounds. Both of them didn't show up today. And you actually had the advantage. You had the chance to actually win this game and go and have an advantage when you go play in your stadium in, a week from tomorrow. And you can't get that done. And to me, it's kind of quitting on your team as a coach, and it pisses me off because, again, I'm rooting for Atletico Madrid, and I see that they actually have a chance to win today, and you just sit back and park the bus and hope for what? What are you hoping for? You're hoping Madrid makes a mistake? It's really rare that it's going to happen in this competition again. Madrid could slip up in La Liga and in the Copa del Rey, but in the UCL, man, there's something about this competition for them that they're just not gonna. They're not gonna let you just win it. Okay, you have to actually go out and get the win. And I think Atletico Madrid sat on their hands. I think Simeone, the subs that he made, just weren't great. They weren't great at all. And I think Julian Alvarez was by far and away the best player in that game. I think Javi Galan had a disgusting first half. And I mean disgusting in a bad way, not in a good way. He was awful in that first half. He was so bad in that first half. It was honestly sad to watch. It was hurting my eyes to watch Javi Galan. He kept losing the ball. He was getting cooked defensively. It was so sad to watch. But yeah, man, I think overall, if you're an Atletico Madrid fan, you look at this game and you say, you know what, their two best players on paper, Vini and Mbappe, both played terribly. We had the momentum going into the second half. And we let that game slip away. We let Brahim Diaz score a goal on us, and then we sat on our hands the entire second half and did fucking nothing. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a better coach than Cholo Simeone because he knows more football than I'll ever know in my life, okay? He's a great coach. But I think anybody with a brain can look at that game and say, you know what, you kind of gave up there. You should be doing more there. You should be trying to actually go out and get a win and get a goal. Even if you don't get a win, at least get a tie, because then you can make it so much more comfortable for yourself in that second leg with your home fans. But now, you're down 2-1, and Madrid can just sit back and get you on the counterattack. And when they get you on the counterattack, you know what happens? Kylian Mbappe shows up, because Kylian Mbappe against a low block isn't great. But Kylian Mbappe, when you're playing against a team that's trying to go out and get a goal, and they have numbers forward, he'll fucking kill you. Ask City what happened when they did that. Ask City about that. And look what he did to them. So in the second leg, you're going to have Kylian Mbappe with all the space in the world, with Jude Bellingham actually being able to control the midfield. And Valverde's probably going to be healthier by that time, probably, because Valverde today, I think he was still injured. And it's going to be a lot more difficult. And by the way, since we're on the topic, Fede Valverde is insane. What a player he is. He's crazy. Barca fans think I glaze Fede Valverde. You know what? I fucking do. He's one of my favorite players in the world, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I don't give a fuck what uniform he wears. If you don't appreciate Fede Valverde, you're not a football fan, okay? Don't let the colors blind you, bro. Like, we're all football fans at the end of the day, or at least I am. I don't know about some of you guys, but I'm a football fan at the end of the day, and I appreciate great football, and I appreciate great football players. And Fede Valverde is a definition of a great football player. This guy could play anywhere on the pitch and be elite. I've said it multiple times. I'm going to say it one more time today. If I could pick one player to play all 11 positions on my team, it would be Fede Valverde. This guy would be an elite goalkeeper, I'm pretty sure. He would be an elite striker. You could put him anywhere. And at right back today, he simply dropped a 10 out of 10. He dropped a 10 out of 10 performance, had an assist, and was amazing. And by the way, also I forgot to mention that those combinations that Madrid had and that Mendy assist for the Brahim goal was also fucking insane. Those combinations on the left-hand side were crazy. But yeah, man, those are my thoughts. I think Atletico Madrid should be disappointed that they let this game slip away. And, with Madrid, you got to just, while they're down, you got to take advantage of it. And if you can't take advantage of it, you're never going to win, especially in that stadium. And for me, I don't see Atletico Madrid come back and win that second leg at the Metropolitano. I don't care if they're playing at home. It's going to be really, really difficult for them because this team is not going to let up. And they're actually going to go out and try and get a goal. And again, when you have Mbappe with all that space and you have numbers forward trying to get a goal in your stadium, it's going to be scary when Kylian Mbappe gets that ball on that counterattack. But yeah, man, those are my thoughts on the game. I wish Atletico Madrid could play like this against Barca. Fucking Sorloth did nothing today. Against Barca, every time he plays us, he turns into prime R9, but then today he does fuck all. But yeah, Julian Alvarez, what a goal. Rodrigo, what a goal. Brahim Diaz, what a goal. 3 amazing goals. I thought that first half was a lot better. That second half was kind of a snooze fest after Real Madrid scored that goal because, like I said, Cholo Simeone just sat on his hands and decided to just throw the game away, just quit. Which, again, if you're an Atletico fan, you should be disappointed. But anyway, man, it happens. We'll see what happens in the second leg on Wednesday next week. And yeah, man, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.